probably explain why I have two weapons in bow season. I've had a couple bears running around lately, so we have protection. My old one's still here. Still smells. It used to be just right here, and then they moved it to right over here. Interesting. Because they broke their branch.
Easy.
But we're good. Because right now, what I'm doing, since you asked, I'm getting all my spots so I can memorize if something comes in. I know where to have my pin on my bow. The ideal shot would be right at that scrape we saw.
Right below you?
Yeah, right below.
So where do you think they're going to come in from?
Well, with the wind, they'll come in either this trail. There's a fence down there. They'll hop that fence and come up this trail, going with the wind. Or I have binoculars because there's always deer that walk along this fence line, and they'll jump in. But you can't always tell until they fully jump in to know what they are. And we have a watering hole down there, so a lot of deer go down there just for water. And maybe on a day like this, where it's a little warmer, they might go there. And then once that corn gets cut that's behind me, that's usually a hot spot, but for right now, it's not. It'll be good once archery's over. Once the wind calms down, I pretty much hear anything that walks close. I'll hear branches or leaves, as long as the wind's blocking it. Usually where they catch me is they'll walk up behind me and I'll be sitting up like this looking where most of the deer come from, and I'll look to my right and they'll be looking right at me because they can just see a silhouette in the window. It's usually the does that have fawns with them. The bucks don't really care. They don't notice. It's the does right now that are...
You got other things on their mind?
Yeah, bucks are starting to move. Friday there's a big buck in a field nearby that was rutting with his mouth out, pushing does. Would have been nice to see that earlier. When the wind shifts, we go like this. Put a little on the edge. A little drop. Oh no.
On your hand?
Yeah. Nothing else I can do. It goes away.
That's rank.
Tinks number 69 doe and estrus buck. Buck lure. I've only seen him once. And he was on camera September 2nd. And he finally showed up again yesterday, or this morning at 6:10 for the first time, checking things out. Looking pretty thick. His neck's a little thick. He should be dead by rifle season. Might be a tough shot if he comes up here with the bow, if he comes to the right spot. Usually I'm in a different stand, but this is the worst kind of wind for the stands, because both of them go into bedding areas. It's usually the nights I have no confidence is when or it's at my worst convenience is when I shoot a deer. Last time I shot my biggest buck, I came home from college on election night to vote for a secondary election, not even a primary, and I shot the biggest buck at sunset, and I had to drive back, or at sun, like 30 minutes pretty much after sunset, and I had to drive an hour and a half back to college after gutting the deer, smelling bad, and I was supposed to see Julia. Didn't end up seeing Julia, because at the time, seeing each other during college was tough. Yeah, that didn't end well.
You got married?
Yeah.
Great.
Got married. Yeah. And it started to downpour on my way home too.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you know what we can do in the winter here? Squirrel hunting. Just walking with a shotgun, and when it's sunny out, they'll sit on the sunny side of the branch, just drop them.
Squirrels.
There's so many red squirrels and gray squirrels you can just shoot. I did it a few years ago. My dad made squirrel stew.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah.
The duck thing that I made was very good.
It looked good. Looked delicious. Yep. Dad also said if that bear comes up again like that I can shoot him. So.
For safety reasons.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was wild. I'm surprised you didn't shoot him.
If he came up one more step, I probably would have. I had my hand on the gun, looking at him. And then he walked off by that tree right there that looks like it's dying, and he dropped a massive shit. And then he walked through that woods, which is the loudest thing ever, because he took a deer trail, and it was just, you just hear him breaking every single branch, and he went down to that watering hole. So I wanted to test his smell, so I opened up, the wind was going towards him, I opened it up for a second, and he just picked up on it instantly, like way quicker than a deer could, and then walked back this way to get downwind and scope it out, and then he ended up walking off. All three of the bucks I've killed on this land have been from this window, and they've all come from this way. So the buck that I had 2 weeks ago at this stand, I think he's a shooter buck. He walked up that trail, and he was fighting previously. I heard him fighting where he came from. He walked up, and it was like, that's way too far of a shot. It's like 50 yards downhill, kind of. And he was walking with a limp on his back hip, so every step just looked painful. And then he kept going straight to that corn around the right corner. And then I just kind of turned my chair and just waited. And then like 45 minutes to an hour later, he came back. And then he walked right under my stand, but he walked straight at me, and then he walked directly under my stand to where I couldn't get a shot. And then I tried to reach out the window with my bow, and I bumped the top of the trim.
Spooked him.
And he heard it, and then he kind of looked up, and then just slowly walked off. And this is like before the deer split up, the buck split up, so there's like 4 other bucks together still, and they all walked away with him. But he's been on camera a lot since, so he's around.
all day. You keep thinking that you hear a buck, and this is the buck that you see.
Pretty much. Stupid squirrel breaking sticks. Or when I'm not hunting, is when I see them. It's like, oh, I won't go out tonight, and then I look at the cameras at like 5:36. There's the shooter. And this is probably would have been one of those nights where I didn't go out and hunt. Deer are crepuscular. You know that word? Crepuscular?
Never heard of it.
It means they only like to really move when it's sunset. It's set when the sun's setting or rising.
That's a made up word.
Crepuscular. Should I chat it or safari it?
Either way.
Crepuscular means active during twilight, which is the time just after sunset and just before sunrise. Example, deer are crepuscular animals. There's a deer. To the left there's a doe walking by. Its butt, you can just see right now. You kind of aimed right, you see it?
Oh, yeah.
Just see its butt right now.
Mm-hmm.
Look like a yearling. Usually what I'm looking for with them, if they're looking behind them, or if they're the pace that they're walking. Right now, the pace that they're walking, they're just browsing for food.
Yeah.
Not really getting pushed around yet. Yeah, they kicked out. Oh, that's a doe. No, that's a big mama. Yeah, they just kicked out from where they walked up earlier. I can't tell what it is right now, but the body looks small. Or at least the butt looks small. Southeast. But I can feel it going down my neck.
You think you could hit that deer with a slug?
Yeah. I think this, I got 120 yards. I think that's an 80-yard shot. If I remember right. Oh, yeah. So there's a doe that's been staring at us that whole time.
No.
There it's coming out right now. Yeah. Just looking at us. Damn doe. It's like the worst angle every time. Every time a doe comes up from that way, she always picks us off, or like, just gets weary. They don't really see us, but they're always weary from that side. And I'm guessing they just have a lot better angle when they look at us.
I think we should wrap it.
Yeah. So. That buck just stared at us as we walked out. Or that nub buck, I should say. There's a deer in my dad's garden. You see it walking?
Yeah.
We're about to trap it in there. This is what's bad. That buck we saw on camera, see where those like yellow colored trees are?
Yeah.
It's just, the camera's just down that hill. So,
This might be him in the garden.
if he's making his rounds. There's a deer. See where you get in? Where you drive in?
Yeah.
Oh, my mom's here.
A deer or a rock?
No, it's a deer, just to the right of the post.
Gotcha. That's a deer? Sure it's not a rock?
Oh, it might be a rock. It's a rock. You can't tell me that doesn't look like the body of a deer.
No, that's it. Looks an awful lot like a rock.